join us in starting up one more episode of Super Angels to go before we get to that final tally of 20. But hey, we decided to keep that suspense going a little longer. This week instead, we're going to explore a trend that's exploding when it comes to the quick service restaurants, especially the roll format. Well, it seems to be catching up, at least with the investor community and startups. Zarina Munro decided then to take a bite of that trend.
The year is 2008, and the economic meltdown slows practically every industry in the country. People are laid off, and more people have more free time to meet and network. What benefits the maximum? Well, the food industry and budget restaurants that fall under the category of QSR or quick service restaurants. The quick service restaurant format has been quite a winner with the Indian palate, and brands like Domino's, KFC and McDonald's have now inspired desi counterparts to foray into the space. One such venture into Indian food is Kati Roll, a startup in Bangalore catering solely to the Kati Roll loving community. Present across 4 cities, Kati Roll is looking to blanket the southwestern region in the next few years, and their recipe for success in the QSR space goes beyond food to back-end operations.
QSRs work on a hub and spoke concept. You manufacture ingredients at a central location, and then you transport them to all the entire network of retail outlets. We have a concept which is highly scalable, which means that we have a frozen commissary. We are able to deliver frozen products which have a long shelf life to entire retail outlet, network of retail outlets. We are able to offer the products to customers at a very competitive price. And the franchisee economics is very, very attractive because of the low operational overheads and the low break-even sales.
Quick service restaurants in India have grown at a 40% rate year on year, making it one of the fastest growing markets the world over. And another venture which has cashed in on this space is wraps and rolls player Faasos, which has added as many as 16 outlets over the last 2 years. Their product, one which they believe is the best suited to both the Indian palate and wallet.
In one sentence, it's like fresh desi wrap served in super quick time. That's what Faasos is all about. So we thought there is a huge gap where nobody's serving a pan-India delicacy or a pan-India sort of a staple food, which is an Indian food and a Domino's-like convenience. So we tried to marry those two aspects together, and that is what we have been doing.
But it's not just rolls that works with the Indian audience. Other brands like Jumbo King Vada Pav have shown that the QSR format works well with vegetarian items too. Someone who knows this space very well is Rajiv Singh, CEO of Team India Managers, which has invested in over 10 QSR formats across the country. And in his view, there are certain key attributes he looks at to get a sense of what will work with the Indian palate.
I think location is obviously a very, very prime, very, very important, because a lot of these young brands get killed in the rentals itself in the first year itself. I think cuisine which is palatable and which, you don't really have to spend time on educating the market. It is something which the Indian palate is already used to. And thirdly, I think price points are very important, because you have a lot of, QSR in a sophisticated format is what we see today. But the vada pav walas and the sandwich walas have always been there. So I think in the terms of pricing, if you can compete with them, and in terms of hygiene and quality, if you can give them a better product, is something which I would advise entrepreneurs, and I think that's a sure recipe for success.
Apart from the product, another key attribute is the marketing. And given the more younger, discerning demographics the segment reaches out to, brands have to be on their toes, sending out the right message. Faasos is one startup which has innovated, using a social media strategy that helps it engage with its audience.
We focus on takeaway and home delivery. So basically the entire area, based on the demographics, becomes our market rather than the shop itself. We are the first restaurant to tweet to order. It's as convenient as you just tweet your order and you get the delivery.
Apart from marketing, other key challenges for startups include high competition, rising real estate costs, and maintaining the quality of the product. And startups have been using their own strategies to overcome these various challenges.
The QSR industry, any company can grow slowly. So you will have to fund yourself in the initial phases of, let's say, 3 to 5 years at least. There is not much of early stage capital in India. So any peak player would like to see a format that is, works well in terms of large customer base, in terms of the store economics, in terms of the multi-city presence, and hub and spoke concept. So these are the things that he would like to see before he starts investing in a company.
Even with all these challenges, the rolls and the wraps players have emerged as the largest players in the QSR space, with as many as a dozen players in the market. Most of them have enjoyed moderate success, and Rajiv believes that it's the format propensity to scale that works in its favor.
Something which is easily Xeroxable, around pan-India is something which will really get scaled extremely fast. I think rolls, because it's one of the easiest things to do today in terms of trained, skilled manpower as well as back-end. You have a lot of ingredients which can be localized. You have a lot of manpower which can be locally trained. Whilst in the bigger chains like burgers and pizzas, your back-end has to be pretty strong.
The entire QSR market in the country is pegged at $7 billion, of which the wraps and rolls segment occupies 4%. One role model in this space is Tips, which has scaled to open as many as 200 outlets across the country. And backing this market now are venture capitalists who see a much bigger opportunity in this space as opposed to the fine dining segment.
The difference between a fine dining restaurant and a QSR is that the fine dining place is a very high capex, high margin business, whereas QSR is low margin but equally low capex business. So the return on investment is much better in QSR, not because of the margins but because of the low capital invested.
The entrepreneur here is key, since in many ways he plays the dual role of chef and CEO. One ensuring a high-quality product with a unique menu, and on the other hand, ensuring that costs are down and that the model is scalable. For the entrepreneur which gets both right, the market is immense. And unlike in the past, there are investors backing this space, giving it wings to expand not only in India, but across the world. So food is one segment that everyone has an opinion on. And while there's no doubting the opportunity within the roll segment, most experts believe that the next big wave of plays could well be in Mexican cuisine. Hey, it's spicy, it's delicious, it's easy to make, so don't be surprised if you see a whole new wave of Mexican QSR restaurants within the next few months. As you can see, their food certainly is delicioso.
Great. Make no mistake then that our 20th episode of our Super Angels series will play out next week. Let's slip into a short break, but coming up, breaking news and a lot of startups getting funded on our news wheel. That's coming up after the break.